All right. So, what about that Will Smith guy? Bitch slapping Chris Rock. Jesus.
No, I want to hand it to Chris Rock, but I think Will Smith beat me to it. So
Yeah.
that's my take on that. I that right now in the little chat, I say little, but there's like 50 people on it of people in the comedy scene talking about Will Smith. There is a huge debate over what Will Smith did at the Oscars. If you didn't
Can you get
know,
a little closer to the mic, by the way?
sure.
Just like maybe a fist or like
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd like a fish, wouldn't you?
Uh, you know that like.
I got a box. I got a box. I can use it to prop it up. Okay.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, a fist away from the mic.
All right. Yeah. So, in case you didn't know, Will Smith smacked the taste out of Chris Rock's face at the Oscars after he made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith being bald.
Walked on stage.
Walked on stage. He had this remarkably relaxed swagger as he was going on stage. Because when you look at this footage, it's like, oh, he looks like he's just gonna have a word, and everybody was like, oh yeah, that's basically just how Will Smith walks.
Yeah, he was doing the Will Smith walk.
He was doing the Will Smith walk, and then right within Bruce Lee 1-inch punching distance, he decides to like smack the ever-loving shit out of this man across his goddamn face. And it's kind of amazing how he did it, because as the hand went across Chris Rock's face, his left went up, like he got into stance as he was doing it, because probably from all of the training he did on Ali. And it was like, yo, Will, you are overpowered for this drama right now. You know, you are a man who is significantly bigger than Chris. You are significantly more trained than Chris.
And you are having the surprise element on Chris.
Yes. I mean, and the whole time on this in the audience, he was laughing, probably joylessly, I don't know. But you know, you didn't think that he was gonna go, you know, remove the taste buds out of your mouth with that slap. You could literally hear it.
The slap, here's the thing. I think the slap at first connected with Chris Rock's shoulder and bounces to his face. If you hear it and then you look at it, it's not a direct connect to the face. He brings it, and Chris, like, I don't know if it was him by instinct doing it, or because I feel like it hits the top of his shoulder and then smacks him in the face. After a ridiculously mild joke of a G.I. Jane joke, a joke that he was like laughing at, and yeah.
It was weird, because it's this thing of where Chris Rock would go on to say on the stage after Will Smith goes back to yell at him from his seat about to not put his wife in his mouth. Take your
do not say my wife's name out of your fucking mouth.
His mouth. Yeah. Like, Will, you're not Samuel L. Jackson. You cannot yield this much aggression confidently without looking like you're going to fall apart. Then Chris has to tell him it was a G.I. Jane joke. Had to remind this man, this is you went ahead and smacked a person on public television during an award show for a G.I. Jane joke. And at that point, the air is just sucked right out of the room, and nobody can laugh, nobody can clap, nobody can respond anymore. They're just stunned. Like, you saw Lupita Nyong'o just in the back, just smile shocked. You know that thing that people do when they're really, like, they're shocked to their core, but they still have the smiler. Yeah, like
Like
she had the defining face of somebody who's thinking, the fuck?
exactly.
What did I just see?
Nicole Kidman became a fucking meme. She had the amplified one. I don't know if you saw her picture. The amplified Nicole Kidman. Yeah, take a
No, I
look
did
at
not.
that. It's ridiculous, and like she's like almost standing up, and like she's in almost of a karate pose. Like she.
Okay.
It's a ridiculous shot of her, and that's gonna haunt her for a while now. I mean, for God's sake, her clapping became a meme a couple years ago in the Oscars.
I mean, I don't have anything against Nicole Kidman. I'm sure she's a lovely lady.
She's a lovely lady.
Shot,
it's just that
she looks like a scared bird.
Exactly, with she looks like a scared bird. Somebody like it's like you pour what do you call cold water over a parrot.
Yeah. She looks like her first instinct is to T-pose for dominance, but she didn't get a chance to complete.
Yeah.
And I don't blame her, because what you just saw on public live, and on top of that, everybody thought it was going to be a bit, because there was no security running into the path of Will Smith to stop him from doing whatever the hell they thought he was going to do.
Here's a catch.
There was no security.
There was rehearsal.
And there was a rehearsal.
The guy who was part of the rehearsal tweeted, he said, yesterday this wasn't the case. This wasn't part of the rehearsal.
So he's heard this joke before.
I am 90% sure that these things are shared with them. I'm 90% sure, because like even he says like, okay, there was rehearsal and this wasn't part of it. So does that mean that Will Smith was there and he had heard the joke and he suddenly decided to snap?
I don't know what's going on, because so a mutual friend of ours, Prakash Daniel, who's also a comedian in the scene, pointed out that a lot of these jokes are written by a comedy writer's room, right? They are written by a bunch of people and pulled together and then given to whoever is hosting or whoever is presenting, and they just deliver the jokes. Some of them might be Chris Rock, some of them might not.
What I've heard is that some of them are fact-checked. I mean, at least I know for roasts, I heard that the jokes are actually shared with the people who are in the roast to see if they're okay with that being said. So for Oscar, I don't know.
Like, this is a big event. You don't want people to be offended. You don't want people to be sued for libel or slander. You could argue that jokes are meant to be treated as jokes, and therefore people shouldn't be brought toward them. Charges shouldn't be brought towards people who do jokes. But working for a very, very short period of time in just radio, right? The jokes that we did on air are vetted by people who are very, very risk averse. Executives for media, whether online or on the air, are very, very, very worried about offending people and about saying something that is controversial, which is why conventional media eventually ends up losing out to media online, because people have to play safe because there's millions on the line.
Yeah.
So you would have thought that these jokes were vetted to shit by the time they decided to get into Chris Rock's mouth.
Especially an event like Oscar, you better be damn sure that that joke has been filtered out for months before it even reaches there.
Yeah. The alopecia thing is unfortunate, but let's be real. Lots of people have distinctive parts about themselves that are very, very noticeable.
The thing about her case is that I don't think Chris Rock was talking about that from a disease standpoint. Her case is that she's been looking like that her entire fucking life. She always has a short haircut. And in this case, she decided to shave her head. If you said like, oh, she appeared with half of her scalp missing, then I would understand. But she always looked like a normal, healthy black woman. That's how she looked like. So it
Yeah,
wasn't like anything severe of like saying like, hey, you look odd. The only thing about her was that she had basically shaved it Joe Rogan style, just completely shaved it the head. And it was a G.I.
well,
Jane joke. And I and so, some people are thinking like, oh, he made fun of her. He made fun of his woman, and he stood up for her. And I'm like, I don't get it. Like, there, yeah.
you know what it
Finish
is.
your take on this, and I think I'll give you my take.
I just think I will say though the joke itself is very weird because Black women specifically have been known to have closely shaven heads or bald heads. It is
Yeah,
a look that is common in the culture.
they can rock it
Um,
well.
they can rock it well. Like a female friend of mine said that Black women can go bald because they got nice heads, basically.
Yeah,
The
they do.
shape of their heads are really good. So they can have like a peach fuzz thing, or they can go completely smooth bald. Like when the Dora Milaje and the Black Panthers came up, none of us thought that was weird. Like a bald lady with a spear, none of us thought
Yeah,
that was
nobody
weird.
thought like, oh, look at this. This is out of the norm.
Like, yeah, like nobody's going to accuse the Dora Milaje of being very, very aggressive cancer survivors. None of that. But so to make the joke about that just seems like, yo, you're making jokes about shit that's been around forever. Okay. I feel like the reaction for that Will Smith had to the joke is strange because number one, the first thing that would have occurred to me is confusion. Like if I had a wife who was bald and she comes from a community or an ethnicity that is known for bald women looking good about it, my first thought is, what? How this? Huh? That would be my first
Yeah,
impression. Confusion. Now, at the time, I noticed that Jada like rolled her eyes
in a very
at the joke.
bad way.
Yeah, like, but I got the general impression that it wasn't so much an insult to her as it was just to be subjected to a joke that was that bad. You know what I mean?
It was a cheap
Like it
joke.
wasn't. It was a very cheap joke. It was a really
Like
dumb joke.
90% of the crowd, I guarantee you, don't even know what G.I. Jane was.
Yeah, that was a weird joke, right? Because that hasn't been a talking point since like 10 years.
G.I. Jane was 20 years ago. G.I. Jane was
Was it
a
20 years?
Demi Moore
Demi
film.
Moore.
Demi Moore joins the military. She got a lot of like it was very good for her film career because like she shaved her head and started doing push-ups. And
wait, I gotta look this up.
Yeah, it's an old movie. G.I. Jane was that's a G.I. Joe was the action figure rock movie, the Cobra whatever clan and that shit.
1997?
This is a 1997 film with the G.I.
Oh,
Jane.
dear
Demi
Lord,
Moore.
I am an old fuck.
When he mentioned
Holy
that, I
shit.
was like, the thing. My impression was that this was just like if he said Mad Max Fury Road, like part 2, I would have like people would have understood. I was like, who here now knows G.I. Jane? Nobody does.
Yeah.
Like people would associate it with G.I. Joe, but still.
Like if I don't know which boomer decided to make a G.I. Jane 2 reference. It was very strange. The joke was very strange and not great. So I can understand Jada Pinkett Smith just sort of
rolling her
eyes aggressively about it. Then what I don't understand is Will Smith's reaction, because he goes from laughing to snapping in a blink of an eye, and we're all,
screaming.
and I think that's why we're all shocked. I think that's why this whole thing went viral, because it's like, yo, where did this come from? What's going through your head?
The thing is, when he actually slapping him, I would have been like, was that part of the joke? But when he actually went and sat and said, I forgot what he said, like, don't get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. The way he was saying it, it sounded deep. it sounded like the man is pissed off something else and he's like bringing it there.
I mean, you can kind of tell when people are acting on a skit because they're kind of exaggerated. Will Smith was not doing that. Will Smith is a very sort of like for lack of a better word, an extroverted looking character whenever he's doing roles. You can kind of tell from the body language when they're doing a bit. That was no body language. Like
the way he was
it was
shaking his head.
uncomfortable. Yeah,
and he was enunciating every word as he was shaking his head with just. So here's the thing I felt. Okay, there's like multiple cases and everybody can think about blah blah blah. I don't know, and we will never know until one of them talk about what the fuck happened. One, possibly Chris Rock has said might have said some shit before, and this whole thing just percolated at the Oscars. Like he did made a joke about her in 2016 Oscar.
Right. Yeah, he's done the jokes before. Yeah.
Yeah, he has. The joke was because black people vacate what they called went on a strike. Black people didn't want to go to the 2016 Oscar for the lack of lack of diversity in it. And his joke was that, well, Jada Pinkett Smith vacating Oscar is like me vacating Rihanna's panties. It's not because it's because I wasn't invited. It's not because I didn't want it. It's because I wasn't invited. Now, it could be said that there was other things being said after that in the backstages and in their personal lives. But
probably.
Yeah, because it's like black community. They're like, I do listen to some of the Michael Jai White. Yeah, and there's a podcast. The guy actually talks with a few artists. I forgot the name of the podcast. I'll search it up right now. He has I forgot his name. Damn it, DJ something. He has a podcast. He always interviews a lot of black artists, hip hop artists, and martial artists, and all that. And it's a pretty decent podcast actually. And they are always like commenting on each other's situations and stuff. From Joe Rogan like saying the N-word to blah blah blah. Everything is covered. Kanye West going crazy with Kim Kardashian. So it might be too much of a sensitive topic. Now, let's take this back a little bit. Assuming that was there, but I'll bring this to this. I felt that Will Smith personally is feeling too much like a cuck for the past couple of years, because everybody are now on his shit.
For being in an open relationship.
Weak. He always appears incredibly weak compared to Jada. Everybody are like telling her like that she's the man of the relationship and he's like the beta, and everybody are poking at that, or like you can only imagine how many people are like messaging him telling him about the entanglement. It's like, hey, want to get entangled, Will? Like, I just got entangled. Like, hey, how's your wife getting entangled with August? What's something? I forgot the last name. The guy Jada Pinkett Smith slept with. So I think it was resentment of all of that kind of coming out, of him feeling like a weak man and wanted to appear like a strong man.
Yeah, there is some insecurity. The Guardian had an article about this was triggering for Will Smith, and I guess he didn't realize it was because he apparently came from an incredibly abusive household. His dad smacked his mom so hard she passed out on the floor, and I guess he never quite recovered. He still feels that he should have done something and he didn't, right? He's still beating himself up over it. So that could be one issue. Yeah.
It felt like that. Another possibility is that whole family is quite weird, to be honest. Like, for God's sake, like, it could have been a very major publicity stunt on their end. He got the Oscar 20 minutes later for the best actor and in his speech he just apologized to Academy, but he was talking about romanticizing the action that he took. I will protect my family, and love make you do crazy things, and like trying to spin it on a positive note.
Well,
It's like that whole family is like, I mean, for God's sake, like imagine like bringing your kids on a table and like, oh, we're all open about everything. We need to discuss this, and it's like, oh yeah, I got entangled with this guy, and I'm in an open relationship, and we fuck whoever we like. And like, or there was another case after that Jada was like, oh, they were saying like her sex life wasn't good.
mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm not supposed to initiate sex. Like you should like know when I want it. And then people were like, dude, what the fuck are you doing what the fuck are you doing to Will Smith? It's just like constantly she was talking with Gwyneth Paltrow of all people.
Right.
So I feel like he might feel emasculated quite a bit. So he's kind of snapping.
Yeah, probably. No, that's definitely one of the factors. To a certain degree, Chris Rock's attitude to the Smiths don't help, because Chris Rock is a comedian and he's a black comedian, and making jokes about the weirder elements, the more avant-garde, for lack of a better word, elements of black culture, probably fair game, right? Yeah. Because I'm still looking at the Guardian article, and the roast that Chris Rock did about boycotting the Oscars is like him boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. That was 2016. And then in 2020, Chris Rock tweeted underneath a wholesome happy birthday tweet to Jada Pinkett Smith that wow, you have a very understanding wife. At this point, it's like it's an easy target. Like him and like Will Smith and Jada Pinkett's relationship is an easy target.
Yeah, it is. It's bare naked in the public. Quite
and
naked.
They chose it to be that way. There was this show that they were on. They talked to each other on air, on camera, about how they deal with each other's problems, how they give and take. There's never been infidelity in our marriage. Jada and I talk about everything. We have never surprised one another with anything ever, right? And even Rebel Wilson was talking about best performance over the past year was being okay with all of his wife's boyfriends. That is vicious.
Oh, I don't know why. Are bad, dude. People are like fucking savage when it comes to this.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, it's not just the wife. It's also that his son was a weirdo just a little bit when he was growing up. I guess all teenagers are. Yeah. When they're growing up, like your brains are growing and trying to figure out the world, and but he's always going to be that kid that goes, what if I, our eyes aren't eyes, said the tweet.
Yeah. The kid
he was basically going, he was basically going what I did when I was a teenager, having a mild existential crisis about the world and the nature of reality. I get that, but the problem is that he's a Zoomer he was a Zoomer in 2015 with a Twitter account, and this was not a good idea.
No, not putting out your thoughts is not something that everybody should have the privilege of.
I think that's just it. That Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith and the kids, they all suffer from having to be earnest constantly in the public eye. And people are going to make fun of you when
A
you're
lot
that
of
when
fun.
you're that earnest, when you're that corny, and not corny in a terrible, pretentious kind of way, but earnest and earnest and real in a way that is way too intimate for most people to actually like deal with. Like who wants to be this wholesome about a family situation that is just kind of bizarre, right? But they're trying to make it work. Um, there's a YouTuber that I listen to called JD Signifier talking about black excellence, the myth of black excellence, about how, or rather, the myth of black love. So, from what I gather in the black community, there is this idealized notion of what a loving couple should look like, and for the longest time, Will and Jada looked like that, right? It was part of their brand.
What they
And
did.
when this happened, no, it didn't. But the problem is sorry, you were going to
No,
say?
continue.
But the issue is that they're still just ordinary people at the end of the day. They're made out of the same crap that you and I are made out of. Have the same
Exactly.
emotions, have the same issues, right? That means that if you're in a marriage with a bunch of shit around you that's stressful, your marriage is eventually going to go through quite a bit of strife,
Oh yeah.
or speed bumps, hardships, like anybody else. But you have already committed to an image of perfection. So what do? You fess up to the whole world and say, this is how it is. We're in an open relationship. We're very honest. We're very earnest about it. I'm not gonna. That doesn't work because people, number one, have already committed to the idea of you being a perfect couple, a perfect family. This is part of your brand. It has made you very influential. It has made you your brand as the perfect couple in a perfect marriage in Hollywood, in a place where people get divorced and remarried all the time, is a note of your brand that is, I'll be perfectly honest, quite profitable.
Yeah.
Right? It's given them a lot of exposure, a lot of publicity, and
Will
when they
Smith
have an
wrote a
opinion
book,
of,
for God's sake, that was a bestseller suddenly.
yeah, and when they have an opinion about love and relationships and commitment, they become the go-to people, particularly for the Black community, right? So for them to go about their relationship in a very unconventional way is going to get you a lot of flack, my dude. I
Yeah.
don't know what else to tell you.
It's exactly
Um,
that. It's exactly
mm,
that. I feel because here's the thing. As you mentioned, the brand that they had was these people filled with wisdom and filled with maturity
yes.
that could actually, they were like, look, we know how to take care of this. And whenever Will Smith talks, it goes into some bullshit philosophy about something, and doing something right, and doing motivational quotes and all that shit. But then there's a moment that comes up, you realize, oh my God, you're a hack. You're not perfect. Your
No.
marriage, your wife was fucking the guy who was your best, you guys were trying to help out of depression, apparently. Then the dude actually even made a
Yes.
song called Entanglement dedicated to your wife.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you suddenly go like, you guys you're just a full of shit person, and you are gonna get your ass handed to you because of exactly that. Now you become, because now you
Ideally,
become a joke. If I say
right.
I am a perfect person and I always like stick by that, and then suddenly
Yeah.
you realize that, hey, the king's wearing no clothes, it's just
Yeah. That sort of thing. So, and the
exactly,
first thing that's going
they're
to do is that
suffering
a bunch
from
of
that.
comedians are going to, yeah, it's that is definitely that. Would I rather people leave them alone? Yeah, but if you wanted to be left alone, you wouldn't have turned your relationship into a brand. That's the
Yeah,
problem, isn't it?
yeah,
Um, I'm not gonna call this blaming the victim here, because let's be honest, the person who did the slapping has significantly more leverage uh, in the industry than the people who are getting slapped,
exactly.
right? It's very hard to be made fun of, when you have cultivated an image that by right shouldn't be hated on, but you live in a world where fantasy and illusion is manufactured on a daily basis and then slapped on a screen.
Yeah.
And people know how it works because people talk.
Yeah.
So when you decide to put that out there, you're gonna have to accept a little bit of like criticism and mockery for it. And
that's, I mean, for God's sake, you live in Hollywood. You're under a fucking magnifying glass 24/7. Like, you get paid shitload of money to do like minimum work. You get paid someone's entire lifetime money. You get trillion time over someone's like 1 year salary, like for a 3 months work or a 1 week work, and you expect people to not like want to poke at you. It's like, what was it? And here's another thing I legit thought about it. I was like, was there a chance? Because Will Smith, what he did was that he really amped up his social media presence. He has a YouTube channel. He has a Instagram, followers all over. He pushed his book out. He has videos out every week. And one of the funniest things after when the term entanglement was used by his wife, he made an Instagram post saying, "Have you ever wondered what the skipping rope sees?" Which he attached a camera to the skipping rope and he starts skipping with it.
Right.
And somebody wrote in the comments, says, "Yeah, don't get entangled." and Will Smith actually replied to the guy and says, "Aha, that was funny. I'm letting you know that I am going to block you, but that was funny." It's just like,
right. It's very, very, it's a bit weird.
It's a bit weird, but that's I mean, people are already on him. Like, I was looking at the stuff that the people are posting toward them right now. It's like one person wrote, "For those who want to know why Will strikes him with an open hand, it's because he knows paper beats rock." It's like some genius come out of this. It's like another one. Will says, "Keep my wife's name out of your mouth." And Chris Rock says, "And you will keep other men out of your wife's mouth."
Gee. I like this one where somebody put up a picture of Ben Affleck smoking outside, looking really, really stressed.
Yeah.
And it says Will Smith's publicist showing up to work in the morning after the Oscars. And you know what? He's not wrong.
Exactly. But so I'm thinking, like, the guy has this much momentum. An Academy Award has lost viewership. I haven't watched Oscars for 5 years now. And guess what? I'm just thinking, is there a chance that these guys have approached Will Smith and Chris Rock and said, like, "Look, both of you are pretty hot right now. Can he come and slap you in the face?" Because right now it's skyrocketed. For Dana White posted about it and says, "Finally an Oscar worth watching."
That is true. That is true of the fact that the Oscars were just this public wanking session in between a whole bunch of people that are so rich they can pretty much ignore the death of the planet and the destruction of the world, right?
Yeah. They get trillions of dollars for very little work, constantly sucking each other up. And like, it's like award season that they're like got 70 awards prior to it. Golden Globe, SAG, whatever. Just
there's evidently a kind of like Schadenfreude, like taking some joy out of people's pain or misfortune, not by looking at Chris Rock get slapped, obviously, but by watching Will Smith lose control.
Yeah, people love to see the people at the top fall big time, even their favorites.
Yeah.
Even people who love Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves to death. It's like, I'm thinking, like, man, if this guy fucks up one day, if he just fucks up once, people are gonna jerk the fuck off. It's just,
I don't think. I mean, I would never say never.
Yeah, his brand is a little different.
I
He's
don't.
much more of a calmer person than obnoxiously loud Will Smith.
I generally have some faith about Hawaiians. Like like just the I just island people tend to be a bit on the calm side. Like, hey bro, that's not cool, bro. Is basically like if oh dear, what's his name? Aquaman.
Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa. If it was Jason Momoa who was getting made fun of, first of all, I'm pretty sure Jason Momoa wouldn't have slapped Chris Rock across the face because Chris Rock would have died.
Yeah, his head would have snapped off.
Yeah, his skull would have exploded.
His skull would have remained. His skin would fly off the other side.
Yes,
his face peels off every skin on his head.
Right. Or The Rock, for that matter. If it was The Rock, the one thing stopping him from just smacking the taste right out of Chris Rock's mouth is the fact that he knows that if he does it, Chris Rock is going to be in an ICU with permanent brain damage for the rest of his life. But also there is this thing of where, getting back to Keanu Reeves, his entire brand is of him just trying to stay out of the public light. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His entire brand is the dude who answers the call when no one else will for a role that's up.
Yeah.
Like, humility is kind of part of his brand.
Yeah.
So and he stays out of trouble.
Yeah. Like, and he's not very loud as Will Smith. He doesn't go out and give life advice and then suddenly realize the dude is like having gangbangs with his wife.
No,
which is all right. I mean, bless his heart. Do whatever the fuck you guys like in a marriage, but don't present something and then when something else comes out to be shocked that people are more taken aback by it.
I think that's what people are so shocked, because we're suddenly reminded of how like brutal some of the stuff that people have said before to them are, to Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. So a G.I. Jane joke.
Yes, back to the G.I. Jane joke. That's what set him off.
Like, really? That?
I'll be honest with you, that's exactly why I think there's a chance he might have snapped, because you will snap over something very small. There was a case in France where a guy shots the waiter because the waiter brings his sandwich late. Okay.
Well,
and he shoots the guy in the shoulder. The waiter dies.
Jeebus. Okay.
Yeah, pretty bad. That is like, people are like, why for that? And I'm like, maybe there's a chance the man has had so much pent up. Yeah. Then there's a moment that you're sitting and like the fucking water in your cup spills, and that's it. That's enough for you to overflow and just erupt. Yeah. He was still smiling as he was walking backward.
Yeah. That was weird to me as well. Like, he was smiling going up, he was smiling coming down, he was laughing, and it's one of these things where these brief moments of subtle madness where you've gone past the point of being angry and you're now just slightly insane. So now when you see or hear something that pisses you off, you're just laughing. And I had this friend who put it very succinctly. She said, "Are you laughing because you're amused about what's going to happen to the person who just pissed you off?" Oh, yeah. And I thought to myself, you know what? I've never heard it that way before, but that's a very, very accurate description of how I feel. I am amused at how I'm going to wreck this person's shit.
It's like, oh my God, you don't even know what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And Chris Rock really didn't even know.
Yeah, like, you have no idea how much I am going to wreck your shit right now. Just you wait. Just you wait. Just give 5 fingers to the face and then walk back like it's,
walk back. The only thing that would suck the energy out of the room.
Suck the energy right out of the room.
Fucking Denzel had to go talk to him with Tyler Perry.
Denzel. He had to do
you
training
can tell
day.
He was pissed. You can tell he was like, when Will gets the Oscar, like Denzel is just kind of looking at him like with this kind of a empty look toward him. Like, I mean, he did give him an advice, but he was like, 3 people had to talk with this guy. Bradley Cooper, Tyler Perry, well, 4, including his publicist. Bradley Cooper, Tyler Perry, Denzel Washington, and his publicist.
This is a very strange movie. This is a very strange heist movie.
Like, why does a white boy is like, where's this Bradley Cooper popping up everywhere? It's just,
can I just say, Will Smith, when he's playing a trained killer in Suicide Squad, comes off as a bit too wholesome for his own good.
Yeah.
Right? Like, all you do is shoot people in the head, Will. That is your role.
And you're trying to jolly for this.
You're a little too like, I'm a good man with a daughter. I am murdering for good, right? Yeah. Like, you're trying to be a villain. You're trying to be an anti-hero in the show. But you cling to this idea that you're kind of a decent human being. You're not. You're supposed to be a member of the Suicide Squad. I get it. My question is, where was Slap Happy Will when he had to play Deadshot in the Suicide Squad? Where's the dude who can just smack a person across the face for saying a dumb joke? Where was that dude?
Yeah, well, it took a lot of entanglement to bring him out.
Just a little bit.
Nothing makes you angry than to seeing your wife getting fucked by a guy who you were trying to help out from his depression, and then your wife on national TV. The thing about that interview, which sucked, was that she was gangster about it, and she said at one point, like, Will says, like, you asked for my permission, and she said, I didn't ask for permission from nobody. It's like, no. I was like, man, this does not look fucking good for this guy right now. And by the way, people are like, just the genius of their comments is that it's like, okay, one person said, gee, Will got himself into quite an entanglement. Or the one that is my favorite, and I saw a variation of it. You saw the variation that I sent you. So Chris Rock should have said, that was quite the entanglement. I'm going to feel the slap until August. or the variation that I like a lot was that he slaps him, he goes back and sits, and Jada whispers, August would have shot him.
Yeah.
There's 2 versions of it. It's like, one says Tupac would have shot him, and then another one says like, August would have shot him.
There's that meme going around about how Will Smith is sitting there laughing, and then he notices Jada Pinkett Smith not laughing, rolling her eyes out, looking pissed off, and then Will Smith thinks to himself, what would Tupac do?
That's exactly what I think as well, because like, this is a guy who fucking a girl, Tupac's ex-girlfriend. Okay.
Yeah.
A woman who's like once an alpha male, and apparently she's an alpha herself in a sense.
Yeah, for better or for worse. Yeah.
For better or for worse. So he's like, Jesus, I have to fill up the gap here somehow.
What can I do right now to inject just enough chaos to keep this woman happy?
Yeah. Because I'm not sure, because like she was smiling afterwards in every scene. And I was like, is that an enforced smile, or is she legit turned on right now?
I mean, I don't know. I know most women would be deeply embarrassed by this whole thing.
Because I know my girlfriend would have like just left. Because it's like, what or what? Why?
Like, it doesn't matter if it's for my honor, quote unquote. You used me as a reason to do violence for yourself, for your ego.
To find your own masculinity.
Yeah. You're dragging me into this.
Had he only like slapped him and ended at that, it would have been much more acceptable than go and start screaming that, because that like really brought it to another level.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I just feel. The thing that really bothers me is him is smirking after the slap.
Yeah,
After
he was like,
walks
"What you
off.
gonna do about it?" It's like, not. No, it wasn't what you gonna do about it. It was like, are you cool? Is that a cool thing? Was there a joke? Is there a joke in this? Because he had the smirk that he was walking up to.
Yeah,
Just like with his Will Smith stride, that is like, he
yeah,
swings his arms and he swings his shoulder back and forth as he walks.
right.
It's like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I just saw him in his three-piece suit, right, yelling at Chris Rock, who was usually the comedic relief in the movie. And I thought to myself, man, this could have been a scene from Wild Wild West.
Yes.
There should be a giant mechanical spider in the background, just in case, right?
Yeah. What I feel, what more got to me in this case was that, oh my God, you totally took away because he was representing the best documentary. And he was supposed to say the nominees and give the award, basically. And he totally took the event away from them.
I know. I mean,
like imagine working on a documentary for all these years only to be foreshadowed with being overshadowed by the shadow of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith fucking.
I mean, no. I'm trying to think about what everybody else in the room thought, and then just so happens on Twitter there's a compilation of reaction shots from all of the stars. Yeah. The ones that stood up were like Emma Stone. The Rock looked very shocked, almost offended. Like his eyebrow literally went up at the shit, right? And Mel Gibson was just there, just fingering his nose as if to go, "Oh, I've been there before. I don't want to go there again." Then Ryan Gosling is smirking like an asshole.
Oh yeah, he's enjoying it.
He's like, "Oh damn, shit got interesting tonight."
Yeah.
Trust a Canadian to just see the humor in everything.
Yeah, he was the guy when La La Land was like accidentally set for the best picture. He was basically, what do you call it? Everybody were in shock. He was the only one on the stage laughing, even though he was part of the fucking film.
Yeah. He was.
He had a smile on his face, like Jesus. But it's there's also a compilation of people checking their Twitters, trying to see if this was real or not.
Yeah, I like this. There's this one shot of
Andrew
Garfield looking at his phone.
Yeah.
During all of this, as if to go, I wonder what people are saying about this bit I just saw. It's such a
I don't know. I have no idea. I think either Will Smith is gonna have a meltdown soon, or more than that, more than this, or I don't know. They're weirdly twisted. The way even his Oscar speech, it seemed like he was trying to spin it as a PR. Like he will be talking on Oprah now. I will protect my family. The way he enunciates it. Going to protect. I'm pretty sure he's going to try to spin it for his benefit. He didn't even apologize to Chris Rock, which I think they might have history in the background that we don't know about.
No, they definitely have history. Chris Rock is, as far as Will Smith is concerned, Chris Rock is a bit of a troll. Yeah. But
still to slap.
All I'm thinking about is Kanye has to step up his insane person game now.
Yeah.
Because Will Smith has raised the bar.
Yeah,
Will
and
Smith
now you
has
have
raised the
to
bar.
start. You gotta have to go with domestic violence. Come on, come on.
Yeah. Now Kanye, because all Kanye
He's
is doing is like subtly threatening Pete Davidson in a music video.
yeah, that was a
You know,
weird music video.
it is. I mean, they're all weird at this point. But at this point, I feel like Kanye's got to rock up to the Grammy stage with a goddamn rocket launcher now, just to
Yeah,
keep up with Will
just to
Smith.
keep up. Because everything now is part of me is also like, okay, are these all these people so full of shit that this all these things is just a publicity stunt for everyone? There's just way too many layers of shit for these people.
Yeah.
Sitting there with their smirk or like smirking up and down. It's like, oh, another 100 million. Or here's what I think, because like this is what the trend seems to be. I think there might be a boxing match between Will Smith and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart, sorry, it was Chris Rock. It's just a fucking boxing match. Everybody now seems to be a boxer.
Yeah.
Stupid ass.
It's just you know what when I think about it, you know what really depresses me? That because this jackass decided to smack this dude across the face, this is all we're going to be talking about for the next week.
3 months.
Right?
3 months.
For the next 3 months, probably.
Yeah.
And Hollywood wins again. Hollywood wins again.
Yeah, that's
Like,
basically it. They wanted Oscar viewership, they got it.
Yeah.
They want stories to circulate, clickbait titles to go up.
They got it. As you said, Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith are probably going to have another appearance on Oprah or Dr. Phil or whatever
Phil,
the fuck.
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
A sit down with Dr. Phil. Let's just.
Yeah.
Will, what happened? What you need to do.
Chris Rock is probably going to have, what you need to do.
It's like, let's hug on the TV. Let's hug. There's a moment of reconciliation that they're going to hug.
I don't know.
Who gives? The thing about Chris Rock is that his pride has to be fucking wounded.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so, because this is exactly what a comedian wants. Because when you make the joke and somebody powerful and influential and with a very well manicured public persona comes up and completely wrecks the sandcastle that is his image with doing exactly what your jokes imply him to really be, you've won.
You shattered the illusion.
Yeah. Because this whole time you were trying to prop yourself up as a paragon of virtue. But you can't take a joke.
No, you can't.
And ironically,
a very stupid joke.
This will be profitable in the short term, right?
Yeah.
But in the long term, he's going to have to live with what he did when the buzz dies out, the clout dies out, when you move on to something else. And at the end of the day, who's going to believe you?
Who's going to believe you?
Say what? Who's going to believe you when you say that you and Jada Pinkett Smith are okay?
And for the rest of his life, he's going to be the guy who slapped another guy live on stage of the Oscars, and not for the guy he's not going to be known for an Academy Award winner, Will Smith. He's going to be known for the guy who slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. The first joke that popped in my head when I saw that. And that's why they don't let black people in the Oscars.
Oh, jeez. You joke, but again, one of my comedian friends had an issue with this very thing, right? The idea that this is going to make the black community look like a joke for a very long time.
Exactly, that's what's going to happen here.
Like, you have gotten so far and you had to work so hard to acquire a particular image for yourself. And it doesn't matter if this is something white people would have also done. But the fact that before this, it was Kanye, and now it's Will Smith, doesn't help.
Nope, it does not.
It doesn't help.
And Oscars have lost its viewership. I get it, but it's still Oscars. Everybody. Fuck everybody. Like in Madagascar, even know what Oscars represent.
Yeah,
and that you decided to like take that moment to turn it into this. That's not gonna go down well in the long run.
Yeah, I know Madagascar. Chris Rock was a zebra in it, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's
he got slapped in there as well.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Yeah. His best friend was a lion. Yeah.
Oh God. Well, you know what? Fuck him. You see, here's the thing: is like they're quite detached from reality. He's living in a mansion worth $42 million, and wearing a suit that basically costs 1 year of my salary just for the shoes. So
yeah,
and everywhere they go, people kiss their ass. You can even see the trend. Like people have become more and more disenchanted with the celebrities over the past 10 years.
Yeah,
like look at the way people like reacted towards Ricky Gervais' first Golden Globes, and people were like, "How the fuck did you? This guy is so rude and shit." And now people are like chanting like, yeah, like fucking I'm done with this, like fuck these guys up a little bit. Like people who would come in the beginning of COVID quarantine, and the Gal Gadot and all these assholes like gathered together and sang Imagine in their houses, like, oh my God, look what I did. It's like, fucking just take it back a little bit. Like you're a human being. Just fucking chill.
Insipid wankery, the likes of which I just don't understand the logic behind.
Well, how do we wrap this up?
You think Will Smith should change his name to Rick James? I'm Will Smith, bitch.
I wanted the person I was looking forward to hear. Unfortunately, he does not have a Twitter. Was to say, what would Dave Chappelle say? That was the first thought that came. I was like, oh my God, what would Dave Chappelle say about this?
I was gonna slap that motherfucker anyway. Twitter's not a real place. Yes.
God damn.
I slap Chris Rock all the time.
Yeah.
Because that motherfucker deserves it.
Chris Rock got slapped over a G.I. Jane joke.
I'm pretty sure if it was Dave Chappelle doing the slapping, he would have done the slap, walked back, sat down, and said, "Oh, shut up! You know you liked it."
That's sometimes sounds like
what
something he would say.
Yes.
Jeez.
I love you, Chris, but fuck you. You had it coming. No, I didn't slap you for making fun of my wife. I slapped you because that joke was fucking terrible. And you know you deserved it. And we would all have been like, you know what? He's not wrong. If he slapped because of the joke, we would have all been like, you know what? Fair. It was a terrible joke. Not because it made fun of your wife, because who makes a G.I. Jane reference in 2022?
Yeah, he quite deserved that shit. G.I. Jane, that's an outdated fucking joke, man.
What kind of?
And bless his heart, he could have actually ruined Will's night more by like filing a charge and basically have him arrested right there and then.
What I thought was really interesting was that Will Smith didn't add more tags to what after it happened.
No.
You know what I mean? Like if Will Smith smacks me across the face and sits back down, my first thought is, you know, man, for a person who's fired up enough about slapping me across the face, your hands are really soft. What lotion do you use?
That too. Because I feel like if it ever was me, I'm not sure if I would engage in physical activity with him, but I would have like made like, I was like, oh, did your wife got entangled recently, or start like doing personal dirty jokes toward them to get them really amped up?
Yeah, just like The moment Will Smith sat back down, I'm just trying to get him to come back up and smack me again. Yeah. I'm like, Will, come on now. And save that for the bedroom. Moving on.
Yeah, that's why we're like, oh, you got mad for a G.I. Jane joke? Well, let me tell you what I really wanted to say. And just start like,
so like that. Well, let's see how well you can slap after every joke I make about your wife. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. You can beat me until I'm dead, but these jokes will live on in your head for the rest of your life. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
It's like, whoever has fucked Jada Pinkett Smith in this room, say I. Everybody.
Oh, don't
Denzel,
be shy.
Like Will Smith turns and see Denzel saying it. It's like, Denzel, even you. Yeah. Fucking idiot.
I mean, I don't blame Jada Pinkett Smith. You gave her an open relationship. Get that dick. Get that dick.
Yeah. Come here and get
right.
I mean, I'm Malcolm X, bitch. I'm Malcolm X, bitch. Samuel Jackson saying, "Me too."
Yeah. Every single member of the Wu-Tang Clan just
raise up. Everybody just raise their hands. It's just
RZA, like, even like, you.
Yeah, because I'm looking at them like, yeah, if I wish he did that, that would have been beautiful. If you're like, oh, you got mad at that, let me give you something to be really mad about.
Yeah.
Your wife's pussy smells like orange. I don't know.
What the fuck kind of comment is that? Your wife's pussy smells like orange. That is weird. I'm like,
yeah, when I fucking
that's my takeaway for this as like a dude who tells jokes.
Did you smell it, money. Will? Smell what? My balls and your wife's breath.
I mean, I'm not hating on Jada Pinkett Smith for getting that dick. That she is well within her rights to get that dick. Just don't make it everybody else's problem. When they decide it's kind of funny. You know, also that wasn't the issue.
Yeah,
the issue was we made fun of her hair or lack thereof. That was the thing that you decided to.
The reason she shaved her head was because I came in it. So oh, Will, by the way, here's the anal beads she left in my house last week. And just start throwing like okay, if you're gonna derail a show, fucking derail it. Don't half-ass it. Burn that bridge completely.
Blow it up across the face. I want this man to attempt murder right now. I'm just gonna be the Joker. Will Smith is shitty Batman. I'm just gonna make him go over the edge. Yeah. Let's see if he kills me.
Exactly. Like Joker being punched by Batman in the interrogation room and laughing. There is nothing you can do.
That's the thing. At this point, if Will Smith smacks another person, all you have to do after that is laugh at him. Because what's he gonna do? He can slap you a million times. If all you do is laugh at him, there's nothing he can do. Oh shit, I just understood why the Joker works. I just understood oh no.
Now you get it.
I finally understand why the Joker works.
It's like, oh my God, even if Chris Rock had done that and laughed at him while he's hitting him, it would have shattered Will Smith because he's already doesn't have any sense of alpha masculinity towards himself, and then realizes that, oh my God, even by brute force, I cannot get the respect that I want.
Yeah. Would you money, power, fame, a slap across the face? What? There's nothing you can do to control it. What? To control all the people laughing at you? Not anymore.
Getting ass fucked it's like fucking on world stage. That did not look good. Like Chris Rock came out of this more triumphant, but I just wish he went insane, like ghetto comedian open micer who was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna light this whole room up. Start
Yeah.
squealing on the people
You know
he
what?
knows who slept with his wife.
Fuck Hollywood. Yeah. Fuck Hollywood. Fuck LA's obsession about itself. I am going to burn this goddamn town down, and all I have to do is say the words. It's like magic.
And
You
it's
say the
fucking
magic
live.
words. Yeah. Oh, you thought Kanye was bad. Will Smith slapping me across the face was bad. This is an industry that gave awards to Roman Polanski and the dude who married his own stepdaughter. What's his face?
Woody Allen.
Woody Allen. I mean, first of all, his first name is Woody.
Woody.
You should have known. You should have known he would
Fuck
fuck that.
might as well like tear off the kid's face of one of his kids and wear it at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Let me give you something to be really mad about. It's just fuck. God damn it. Such a wasted opportunity.
Yeah.
I would have watched that Oscar in a heartbeat, like, oh, finally something real out of these people's mouths.
But at the end of the day, your movements will get co-opted, and all of this controversy that looked like a nightmare, that looked like Hollywood showing its true face, is going to get co-opted into a dozen shitty Oprah appearances.
Oprah appearances, book deals.
Yeah.
All of that. And every
They'll
time
find
they
a way
get
to
paid, by
monetize
the
it.
way, every time a tabloid mentions them, they're getting paid. Any picture is being used, they get residuals from that. They're fucking making a shitload of money out of everything here. Bless them. Bless them. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe we'll find out what was the snap off point, as much as he's trying to add, as much as like he was trying to add dignity to the action. He took like, I protect my family, like the fucking movie character he did. It just didn't cut it, man. Yeah, let's see. Maybe there will be a part 2 to this.
Here's hoping we have something more to talk about, because shit, it can't just be these rich people getting content out of this shit, right?
Yeah. Anyway,
I mean,
what?
Yeah.
What?
Further down, hopefully, we won't have to do a breaking news version of stuff that's happening. We'll have a more educated, nuanced, and funnier approach to.
Yeah. I think we're basically trying to understand like what would make a guy do that, especially in Oscars. Like there's Will Smith technically actually is now on the top 2 events in Oscar history, where there is Marlon Brando sending a Native American woman to talk about cruelty towards Native Americans, and Will Smith slapping Chris Rock in the face.
The highs and lows.
Yeah.
The highs and lows. You know what I think? Maybe Will Smith just attempted sodomy with more butter. This wouldn't have been.
Maybe if he divorced his wife, because to be honest with you, I do not think that woman is that woman is too much to handle. Like there's something about her that's just like this is that, because I think I think Will is much more of a relaxed person, and Jada is much more like taunting and like, you call yourself a man, Will. Hey, Tupac had a bigger dick. Just
that's part of what I saw on that video essay on YouTube about Black love. Like the second you don't perform as a conventional man, you get your man card taken away from you, even if your reasons are legitimate, right?
Yeah.
You got mental health issues, the economy is unfair against you. It doesn't matter. Suddenly your partner is going to be like, you're not a real man, right? You're not good enough to be in this relationship. You're a boy.
Yeah.
And I think
stay away from crazy pussy. That's all I say.
Well, for me, I don't think it's crazy pussy. I think everybody's crazy just a little bit. shit, I'm really starting to understand this Joker thing right now.
I've understood it
I
for
think
quite some
everybody,
time, which is actually scary. That's to be honest with you.
I think everybody's just a little like, you talk about crazy pussy. I think everybody's crazy
Mm.
and they just don't know how to deal with it.
We can talk about
Jada,
that in the next
Will,
podcast, actually, because I've been doing a lot of
yeah.
Jungian analysis on myself, and I realized that,
Mm-hmm.
you know why I like the Joker so much? Is because I am Joker in some sense. Like realizing about
Yeah.
your shadow is quite a bit of a thing, because I mean, the people who have like suppressed it, they end up becoming Hitlers and Stalins and all that shit. They explode into
Yeah.
something bad. But you know, you're trying to read up on this kind of stuff, and you kind of start seeing like little breadcrumbs, and you realize, oh my god, I understand why you want to laugh when somebody beats you up, because you know it's like go to that deep of a level of craziness, or try to push someone over the edge just for the fuck of it, or the idea that it's like people want to watch the world burn. And since COVID
That's
started
it.
and World War
The
III
sequel,
started, people,
yeah.
including myself, I realized I do want to watch the world burn. I do want things to be worse at times. And I catch myself thinking,
Because
I'm
think
like,
about
oh, fuck.
because think about what happened. A family man in a troubled relationship smacks another colleague across the face in front of the entire world, and our only reaction is, yeah,
Sucker. Yeah, you're one of us.
yeah.
You're not
Finally,
you're
you're
not a
one
god.
of us.
Finally you fell.
You're not a. That's right. We're gonna take you across. We're gonna take you around the Colosseum, and we're gonna be that slave who whispers in your ear as you do your victory lap. You are not a god.
Yeah. Maybe you're whispering, Memento Mori. Just
Memento mori.
you will die
Memento
too,
mori.
motherfucker. Don't think you're something special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
on that note,
let's end this podcast. We will bring
yeah.
you updates once we have anything about this. I'm pretty sure this is going to be the topic of conversation for the next few
Mm-hmm.
weeks. All right. Shall we wrap it up?
Yep. Let's
All
wrap it
right.
up.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, fuckers. Bye bye.